Since the 90s, Cartoon Network has been a major player when it comes to original content for kids on Friday nights. But it didn't always start out that way. For the first few years, Cartoon Network's programming largely focused on library content from Hanna-Barbera, MGM, Warner Brothers, and all those great classics. In 1994, things began to shake up a little bit when the network launched Space Ghost Coast to Coast, a late-night talk show where the Hanna-Barbera superhero of the same name interviewed real-world guests in a parodic manner. The animation in this show was achieved by reusing original Hanna-Barbera animation cells, so it wasn't extremely expensive to produce. However, the show was enough of a success for Cartoon Network to look deeper into creating more original content. Things didn't really start rolling until World Premiere Toons made its debut in 1995. And gave the world its first glimpses at Dexter's Laboratory, Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, Cow and Chicken, and Courage the Cowardly Dog. On April 28, 1996, Cartoon Network debuted Dexter's Laboratory as a full series one day after its preview on TNT. In July 1997, Dexter's Lab premiered its second season alongside 3 brand new original shows: Johnny Bravo, Cow and Chicken, and I Am Weasel. And now, 3 nights of the week would be dedicated to original content. Johnny on Mondays, Cow and Chicken and I Am Weasel on Tuesdays, and Dexter on Wednesdays, effectively marking the beginning of the cartoon branding that was used to denote the network's original programming. Cartoon. During Thanksgiving weekend in 1997, Cartoon Network aired a marathon titled Cartoon Weekend. 52 whole hours of nothing but Dexter's Lab, Cow and Chicken, I Am Weasel, Johnny Bravo, and the What a Cartoon shorts. The marathon was held again the next year from November 6th through the 8th, and featured the premieres of Mr. Warburton's Kenny and the Chimp and the pilot of Mike, Lou and Dog. After Cartoon Weekend, it became clear that cartoons were only going to get bigger. On November 18th, 1998, the Powerpuff Girls debuted as a full series, and became a juggernaut in the network's lineup. Ed, Edd n Eddy debuted on January 4th, 1999, after a brief delay in post-production. Cartoon Network even considered Ed, Edd n Eddy to be its most ambitious production at the time. Unlike every other Cartoon Network original show before it, Ed, Edd n Eddy was produced by AKA Cartoons all the way in Canada, making it Cartoon Network's first original show completely produced out of its home country. With a few originals already on the air and many more on the way, Cartoon Network needed a strategy to draw an even bigger audience to their new assortment of shows and give their contemporaries some competition. Friday, June 11th, 1999. You with us? Introducing Cartoon Fridays, Cartoon Network's main space for all their original shows every Friday night from 7:30 to 11. Cartoon Network contracted Primal Screen in Atlanta to develop the identity for the block after they developed the network's iconic Powerhouse branding the year before. CCF's original packaging used live-action segments that were themed around lottery drawings, auctions, farm animals, marching bands, stargazers, and meteorologists. The network also created humorous interstitials to promote CCF. One of these was centered around the ideology of Bravoism. Another one focused on a trio of women calling themselves the Powerpuff Patrol saving the city.
We don't just give someone a hair bone and stick them on the street. There's almost 2 weeks of training.
But my favorite one out of all of these has to be the one where characters are making people prove their worth to be a part of Cartoon Fridays.
Fill in the blank for me. Hey there, little what?
Sailor?
Ah!
The Cartoon theme song.
Bum, 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 bum.
I think these show just how out of the box Cartoon Network's promotions team was at the time. To top things off, Harry Shearer of Simpsons fame provided voiceover as the block's off-screen announcer. Dexter's Laboratory had already finished its original 2-season run nearly a year prior to the block's debut on June 15, 1998. Johnny Bravo was set to start its long-awaited second season albeit with a series retool by Gary Hartle and Kirk Tingblad, after creator Van Partible was let go by the studio. And Cow and Chicken was close to airing its final episode. I Am Weasel spun off into a standalone series the night before CCF debuted, and kept premiering new episodes for the next year. The initial schedule for CCF included Dexter's Lab, Ed, Edd n Eddy, Cow and Chicken, The Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, I Am Weasel, and The What a Cartoon Show. The very first premiere episode on the block was the season 1 finale of Ed, Edd n Eddy at 8. Well, that's a hell of a lineup if I've ever seen one. While the bumpers inside the block were live action, the block's opener and topical promos used an entirely different format, where characters posed in different colored squares patterned all over the screen. And don't even get me started on the music, just listen. In the week leading up to the block's debut through July 16th, Cartoon Network held a sweepstakes call-a-thon where the grand prize winner won an 8-day, 7-night trip to Bora Bora, and they could watch a special screening of the upcoming Mike, Lou and Dog series. Cartoon Network also held a promotional tour for the block over the summer that ran in 11 cities. Not much is known about the event, but attendees were able to watch cartoons on a 35-foot inflatable TV screen. That's kinda cool. On August 20th, Cartoon Weekend returned once again. This time running for 53 hours with branding to match CCF and characters assisting as hosts. This iteration of CCW aired premiere episodes of Johnny Bravo, Powerpuff Girls, and I Am Weasel. Courage the Cowardly Dog's full series also aired a sneak peek during this weekend, and Bill Ray's King Crab Space Crustacean cartoon aired. On September 24th, CCF debuted new Yogi Bear cartoons,
From He Who Shall Not Be Named.
On November 12th, Mike, Lou and Dog and Courage the Cowardly Dog finally debuted his full series on the same night. 2 for the price of none? Aw yeah. On December 10th, the Dexter's Laboratory movie Ego Trip premiered, marking the conclusion to the original Dexter's Lab series. For the next few months, things pretty much stayed the same in terms of shows and presentation, but there were still new episodes aplenty for kids and adults to enjoy. On June 9th, 2000, CCF got a major overhaul that stayed going forward. Gone entirely were the live-action segments, in favor of animated hosts and characters gathered in a studio littered with colorful ribbons, monitors, and the iconic Fridays disc. To promote the change, Cartoon Network created a promo that aired off-network, which predominantly featured a peculiar color.
It's called Cartoon Fridays, and we're on it. Hurry up! Okay! These are our shows. All your favorite cartoons back to back, with a new episode every Friday. They're on Fridays at 7, over on Cartoon Network. You might like to switch over there now.
Somebody's coming!
While the live-action bumpers were interesting, these animated ones are leagues better. The host interacted with the viewer and sometimes told them what was coming up next if the announcer wasn't around. During the 2000 season, the hosts that rotated each week were Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls, Eustace from Courage the Cowardly Dog, Dexter from Dexter's Lab, Double D from Ed, Edd n Eddy, Johnny Bravo from... I forgot, and the Mayor and Miss Bellum from the Powerpuff Girls. These hosting segments were written by Chris Kelly, Steve Cohn, and Steve Patrick. 2 Steves? So powerful. I love this bit of Johnny getting distracted by Red Hot Riding Hood.
Whoa, mama! I gotta ask Droopy for her number. Oh, hey, are we on the air? Hello!
The off-screen announcer duties were handed over to Tom Clark, who's probably my favorite Cartoon Network announcer from this time period. Tom's voice brought so much energy to the promos that really knew how to get viewers excited for a show.
And check out the new cartoon, Long Hair and Double Dome. The story of cavemen coming together with their Neanderthal brothers and using the newest technology available in the pursuit of fruit.
And sometimes the host of the night would do voiceover promos during credits too.
But wait, there's more! After that, we'll be seeing a brand new Mike Lewinog. And after that, a new Sheep in the Big City. How about that, huh? He's the new guy, you know.
For one of the time slots, the host got to air an episode of their choice. And viewers got to vote online for an episode to air as that week's .com pick. From June to August, a third segment of that time slot was dedicated to a brand new pilot each week. The CCF promotional tour took place again this summer across 13 cities. On August 18th, Sheep in the Big City made its network debut. A week later, Cartoon Weekend took place once again, this time with an emphasis on the Big Pick, a contest in which viewers could pick one of the pilots from this summer to become the next cartoon. Let's flash them. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Whatever Happened to Robot Jones, and Longhair and Double Dome were the three finalists, with Billy and Mandy winning in a landslide victory with 57% of the votes. CCF shifted its start time to 7 p.m. after this weekend. The .com and host picks stuck around, but the pilot segment was replaced with a random bonus cartoon. On October 27th, the block hosted its first Halloween party. The set was decorated and characters dressed up as other cartoons. Dexter as Courage is so adorable. During these segments, the lights are turned off and everyone is trying to figure out who this mysterious prankster is.
Dexter, any luck?
Does this do anything?
That was the monitors.
Sorry!
Fail to invite me to your party, will you?
Who is this?
This is great!
Never mind who I am.
Spoiler, it's Aquaman. These holiday specials are such a fun way to get viewers into the spirit of the holiday. On November 17th, Sheep in the Big City started premiering episodes on the block regularly. This night featured Double D as host with unique segments that only aired once, where Johnny and Chicken were harassing him throughout the night. Poor little dude.
Now please, join me in welcoming our newest cartoon, Sheep in the...
Man, I am getting hungry. Anyone else hungry?
Hey, you want to split a pizza?
That's it! Guys, if you interrupt me one more time, you'll be sorry.
And what are you gonna do?
Baboon!
Hey, get away from me, you dang dirty ape!
Alrighty.
On December 22nd, CCF hosted its very first Christmas party titled A Very Cartoon Fridays Holiday Special. These segments are so jolly. I love how in the opener, Chicken mentions how they could air the Christmas Comes to Pac-Land special, and Dexter acknowledges that it's airing on Christmas Day.
They are showing it on Monday.
Really? Oh, man. Now what?
Looks like we're going to have to come up with something ourselves.
There's quite a few fun references to A Christmas Story in The Grinch here too.
Cartoon!
After the Christmas party, the announcer took over hosting duties for the next 2 weeks, until the cartoons returned to host on January 12, 2001. On January 26th, the block held the Big Game 29 tailgate party. This party was associated with the Big Game Marathon between Bugs and Daffy over the weekend. On this night, CCF began giving out Cartoon Orbit codes. Cartoon Orbit was an online trading game on the network's website where players could purchase, sell, or trade virtual stickers of Cartoon Network characters. These stickers were known as C-Tunes and could be purchased via the game's marketplace. However, exclusive codes were given out to CCF viewers each week for them to redeem for a limited time. February 9th marked the final appearance of the .com pick, and on March 2nd, Sheep from Sheep in the Big City hosted for the first and only time. These hosting segments were unique since most of the dialogue was a simple quite charming. Unfortunately, premieres of Sheep's show moved to Sunday nights after this. On June 8th, CCF underwent a slight refresh with a new opener and new hosts. This opener seriously was the best of them all. It had a really grand feeling to it. You weren't just tuning into cartoons, this was an event. Ed and Eddie hosted this night, which also marked the debut of the next cartoon Time Squad. Other cartoons that aired on this night reflected a time travel theme too. The Premiere show debuted at 8 p.m. and highlighted pilots eligible for this year's Big Pick. New bumpers featuring puzzles and roller coasters started airing. Guest characters also started showing up to tell the viewers to stay tuned.
Stay tuned for more Cartoon Fridays.
Don't we hear Scooby-Doo enough? You gotta take over Cartoon Fridays too?
Also new was a segment called Bet You Didn't Know, where Lenny Baxter from the Powerpuff Girls gave out facts about different shows.
That man is the show's creator, John Dilworth. If I was Eustace, I wouldn't laugh at the guy who has the power to turn me into a kangaroo monster.
July 6 saw the hosting debut of Mojo Jojo. His segments were unique in that the block opener was altered to have interruptions from Mojo.
This is Mojo again. I am controlling this part too. Don't think I'm not, because I am. Controlling it, that is.
Johnny Bravo hilariously goofed up in scheduling the host, accidentally jotting down Blossom and Courage for the job, which caused them to interrupt Mojo throughout the night, making him irritated.
Another host? You don't even talk.
I do sometimes.
Looks like there's a scheduling conflict.
His closing segment was a parody of Saturday Night Live's closing segments. On July 20th, CCF ran a Christmas in July special, which repurposed the Christmas party segments from last December, with Baboon always interjecting with, "In July!" Though hardly any of the episodes were Christmas themed. On August 10th, CCF took a week off to accommodate for the 90-minute debut of Samurai Jack, which was not billed as a cartoon even though it was a network original. The following week, the block was pushed back to 7:30 to make room for Jack and the Time Squad hosted for the very first time. Come August 24th, it's that time of year again, the Big Pick. Last year's winner, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, debuted on this night but with a catch.
Oh, come on now.
Billy, Mandy, and Grim weren't alone. The show shared space with another Maxwell Adams series called Evil Con Carne, and the shared time slot carried the name Grim and Evil. Once again, like the previous year, viewers were instructed to vote on what would become the next cartoon from 10 brand new pilots. The 3 finalists of this go-round were My Freaky Family, Kitty Bobo, and a little-known pilot called The Kids Next Door. Take a guess which pilot won. I bet you can't. In addition, the cartoon characters from currently running shows gave their own opinions on the new pilots, which was a really neat touch. On August 31st, CCF changed its start time again, this time to 8 p.m. Cartoon Network aired special limited presentations of Kids WB series at 7:30 for cross-promotion purposes. On October 19th, Eustace returned to his hosting duties for the first time in almost a year, but this time he was joined by his wife Muriel. I laugh so hard when the two are expressing how grateful they are to be hosting, then a long list of other host considerations scrolls on the screen. Goku could have made for an interesting host though. The following week, the CCF Halloween party took place for the last time. On November 16th, the Kids WB cross-promotion stunt finished and was replaced by reruns of Justice League. On the 30th, Dexter began premiering new episodes in the block. The 12 Tiny Christmas Tales and Johnny Bravo holiday specials premiered on December 7th. On the 14th, Dexter got new hosting segments to align with his new design and voice. Dexter's original voice actor, Christine Cavanaugh, retired around this time and was replaced by Candy Milo. I still find these segments quite humorous.
And I am so excited to be hosting, I have got chills. In fact, it feels a little drafty and that was
The Christmas party took place once again on December 21st. To start off 2002, CCF shifted back to 7 p.m. on January 4th. The party didn't stop at 11 or 12. Not even at 1 or 2. CCF was now an overnight occasion all the way until 6 a.m. These overnight slots were used to air reruns from the block as well as other cartoons. On February 8th, Samurai Jack became part of the CCF lineup for reruns, and new episodes began airing in the block on March 1st, marking the beginning of the show's second season. Despite Jack's presence on the block, the show was still not considered to be a cartoon. It was around this time Doug Price began to replace Tom Clark as the network's announcer.
You're watching Ed, Edd and Eddy on Cartoon Fridays.
If his voice sounds familiar, he voiced Phil Funny on Doug.
I'm just teaching my boy the funny fireball.
If you ask me, I much prefer Tom Clark's energetic delivery compared to Price's more straightforward delivery. March was also when the hosting segments started to take a back seat, usually only airing before the show went to break and maybe at the top of the hour. The Bet You Didn't Know segments and the special Stay Tuned bumpers were being phased out too. On May 31st, CCF unveiled a new opener and held a Powerpuff Girls marathon from 8 to 11:15. This marathon was a top 10 countdown for the series, intended to promote the upcoming Powerpuff Girls movie. Episodes featured were Telephonies, The Rowdy Rough Boys, Down and Dirty, Just Another Manic Mojo, Mime for a Change, The Bare Facts, Boogie Frights, Uh-Oh Dynamo, Los Dos Mojos, and Crisscross Crisis being the #1 pick. A sweepstakes was held during this marathon, where viewers could call in for a chance to win either a Powerpuff Girls or Mojo Jojo themed electric guitar, with a carrying case and a mini twin amplifier. More PPG episodes aired overnight. On June 7th, the block went back to starting at 8, and Courage the Cowardly Dog started airing brand new episodes each week until the series wrapped up in November. Speaking of dogs, I'd be remiss if I neglected to mention the CCF promo from around this time, where Scrappy-Doo is sitting outside the studio, frustrated that the new guys are getting more love than him.
My name is Scrappy, and I've been here longer than all of you. Longer than you, and you!
Oh, mama.
On July 19th, Whatever Happened to Robot Jones debuted as a full series, despite losing the big pick a few years prior, with Ed and Eddy hosting this night. August 16th showcased a top 10 countdown for Dexter's Laboratory, to promote the release of the Dexter's Laboratory Hip Hop Experiment album. That Secret Formula song from will.i.am is still my jam to this day. Oh, and also Back to the Lab again. Episodes featured in this marathon were Streaky Clean, The Muffin King, Mach 5, Eyes, The Granddaddy of All Inventions, Dimwit Dexter, Fillet of Soul, Golden Diskette, Beard to be Feared, and last but not least, taking the #1 spot. This night also marked the last time CCF aired overnight, and the block now ended at 1 a.m. Shows like Looney Tunes, Scooby-Doo, and Tom and Jerry took the overnight slots. Cartoon Weekend took place for the last time from August 23rd until the 25th. However, things were switched up significantly this year. The big pick was out, but the Summerfest was in. 8 new Cartoon pilots aired this weekend, with the voting element obviously eliminated. One of these pilots, Lowbrow, did eventually become a full series called Megas XLR in 2004. 4 new Cartoon Network music videos premiered this weekend too, as well as concert performances from artists like Reverend Horton Heat, The Apples in Stereo, and Coolio. Man, Coolio was everywhere on Kids TV back in the day. Boy, that crowd is getting down alright, and this shot right here goes way too hard. Unfortunately, the Summerfest didn't utilize any traditional hosting segments. Most of the heavy lifting was done by Doug Price. August 30th capped off the summer with an Ed, Edd and Eddy pool party marathon until midnight. This was the only night where an extended 60-second version of the block's 2002 opener was used. Seems a bit random, but okay then. On September 6th, the Premiere Show returned at 10 p.m., this time used as a vehicle to premiere random cartoon episodes each week. On October 4th, CCF temporarily rebranded as Scaretoon Fright Days for the Halloween season. The removal of the Cartoon branding for this event allowed for special presentations of Scooby-Doo movies. The Reluctant Werewolf, The Cyber Chase, Alien Invaders, and Zombie Island. Courage, Grim, and Evil were still airing new episodes during this time as well. From Monday, November 11th through Thursday the 14th, Cartoon Network presented a primetime edition of Cartoon Cartoons The Top 5 from 7 to 9 p.m. The top 5 episodes of 4 Cartoon Cartoons were counted down throughout the week, and that week CCF aired the number 1 picks for each show. November 22nd featured the series finale of Courage the Cowardly Dog, and most of CCF was preempted on November 29th for a special Christmas in Bedrock Flintstones marathon. The block started at 10 that night for a special presentation of Private Eye Princess, another rejected Cartoon Network pilot. Codename Kids Next Door finally debuted as a full series on December 6th, with the Time Squad hosting.
Begin transmission. Prepare for mission launch procedure. All systems go.
And the block shifted back to 7 p.m. December 13th marked the final airing of the premiere show, and the 20th was the last CCF Christmas party. The 27th featured a Kids Next Door marathon from 7 to 11 with an all-new episode. I think 2001 through about mid-2002 was the peak of CCF. The scheduling was elite, there were so many new cartoons, and the packaging was the best it had ever been. The Summerfest was a downgrade from the Big Pick for sure, but it was still decent, and the occasional marathons were a nice way to switch things up. For January 2003, the only premieres were Kids Next Door episodes. On Valentine's Day, CCF aired a mini marathon centered around Johnny Bravo's quote-unquote best dates from 8 to 9, followed by the premiere of his own Valentine's Day special. The following week, the Groovinians, a failed Adult Swim pilot, made its CCF debut. On February 28th, Brad Bird's classic The Iron Giant aired on the block. On March 7th, the Cartoon Network Greatest Musical Moments special premiered. Keep in mind, these musical moments were not limited to just cartoons. What's New Scooby-Doo made its Cartoon Network debut in CCF on March 28th. And this wasn't just a one-time thing. The show kept airing new episodes each week. Something's definitely afoot. On April 11th, CCF held another Powerpuff Girls marathon from 8 p.m. until 6 a.m. No new episodes, just a sleepover theme. By this point, most of the premieres on the block were either Dexter's Lab or Scooby-Doo. And on May 16th, 2003, Cartoon Fridays was unceremoniously cancelled by the network, and the entire Cartoon Cartoons branding for original productions was retired, effectively making Codename Kids Next Door the last official cartoon to debut. The last character to host CCF was Dexter. Kinda fitting considering he was the first cartoon after all. Wonder if that was intentional. Dexter's show was also the last show to premiere a new episode on the block. Friday, May 23rd, 2003. Enter Summer Fridays. Airing from 7 p.m. to 1 a.m., gone were the fun hosting segments in favor of a more generic presentation that was pretty self-explanatory. Really, the only things retained from CCF were the Fridays disc and orbit codes. On launch night, the biggest highlight was the network premiere of the Powerpuff Girls movie, only 10 months after its theatrical release. The movie continued to air throughout the weekend in observance of Memorial Day. On June 6th, the special called Cartoon Network's Funniest Bloopers and Other Embarrassing Moments premiered.
You dropped this, youngster.
It's not my youngster.
Eventually, Grim and Evil spun off into 2 separate series. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy on June 13th, and Evil Con Carne on July 11th, while the shared Grim and Evil time slot was removed from the schedule. On July 25th, Summer Fridays celebrated Christmas in July from 8 to 10 p.m. with a Christmas Flintstone, the Nutcracker Scoob, the Grinch, and a Johnny Bravo Christmas, For the weekend of August 8th, the Kids Next Door took over the network with Mission Weekend, a marathon similar in nature to Cartoon Weekend, as only cartoons were aired for this marathon. Viewers could gather on-air clues to stop adults from taking over the network and play the online tie-in game Operation Stat. Players who completed the game received an honorary membership to the Kids Next Door. On September 5th, Summer Fridays briefly rebranded to simply Fridays using the same packaging. When I say brief, I mean brief, as this iteration of Fridays only lasted for the month of September. On October 3rd, Fridays got a complete overhaul and nothing was ever the same. But before we get into it, drop a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far. Introducing the new Fridays, from 7 p.m. to midnight. Filmed at Turner's Techwood campus in Atlanta, the block now featured live-action hosts Tommy Snyder and Zynga Blake, in front of an audience who were involved in skits and games throughout the night. Some notable recurring segments included Dancing with the Big Guys, Word of the Day, where kids would have to try their best to spell a made-up word,
Dwenz, D-W-E-N-Z, Dwenz.
That is correct.
Whiskers, the kitten who can name fruit,
Pomegranate.
The Booge,
I love listening to books on tape. Mainly because I don't know what those little squigglies in the book are.
Mr. Baby and Baby.
Did you know what color a burp is? Why, no. I don't know what color a burp is. Would you like to? By all means. What color is a burp, baby? Purple!
Long Haul the Puppet Trucker.
Today, kids, I'm hauling toothpaste and toothbrushes. I'm just a big old dental hygiene machine.
Rev Chase and Motor Baby.
What do we do, Motor Baby?
Let's hightail it out of here!
Wow, we sure got out of that scrape.
Oh, I think I need a new diaper!
Milkman Fred.
You take a few scoops of vanilla ice cream, and then you add, yay, so many peanuts like this.
Game Time. Go! Email Time, and so much more. There were even exclusive shorts made for the block like Show and Tell.
Okay, do you want to see my superpower? I can turn my eyelids inside out. Oh. Don't worry, ladies. I would never abuse my X-ray vision, but now I must depart.
If Long Haul's voice sounds any familiar to you, his puppeteer is none other than Andy Merrill, who's probably most well known for his role as Brack. Two other puppet characters named Vernon and Rat often appeared in segments as a pair.
Welcome back to Friday!
Yeah, that was good.
Are you happy with that one, Mr. Perfectionist?
That was good stuff.
They were respectively voiced by Steve Patrick and Chris Beeger. All these segments were really varied and constantly updated, so the viewers always had something new to look forward to. Patrick and Merrill were the main writers for these segments, but additional writers would be added throughout the show's run. Kids from the audience also got to be in the intermission bumpers, which to this day I find really cool. It really helped emphasize that Fridays was the place to be after a long week at school.
We'll be right back after this with Here's Mud and You're Ed, part of tonight's new Ed, Ed, and Eddie, right here on Fridays.
The block opener, produced by Primal Screen once again, is so freaking awesome. The music done by Michael Kohler and Eddie Horst has the perfect amount of high energy. And the cameos of so many classic characters that didn't really have a presence on the network anymore was a great delight. The inaugural lineup featured the Season 2 premiere of Kids Next Door, Duck Dodgers, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, What's New, Scooby-Doo, and the Season 2 premiere of Whatever Happened to Robot Jones. I dig that. The month of October celebrated Shocktober, which focused on Scooby-Doo movies every week. The Ghoul School, Alien Invaders, Cyber Chase, meets the Boo Brothers, and the network premiere of The Legend of the Vampire. On the 10th, the block ran a contest where one lucky winner got the chance to be animated into an episode of Kids Next Door. For Halloween, Tommy and Zynga dressed up as Ed and Number 5. November was a big month of premieres for the network in general. On the 7th, Pokémon the first movie made its network premiere on Fridays, while the 14th saw the network premiere of Pokémon the movie 2000 and the series finale of Whatever Happened to Robot Jones. November 21st saw the network premiere of Pokémon 3 the movie, and a very special encore for the first season of the Star Wars Clone Wars microseries. Worth noting is that the series finale of Dexter's Lab aired outside the block the night before this. Fridays took a break on November 28th for the 24-hour Iron Giant Marathon. I know it's a good movie, but man did Cartoon Network love this movie. The month of December featured Christmas specials on the block, with a notable one being the Powerpuff Girls' 'Twas the Fight Before Christmas on the 12th. The following week featured the network premiere of the movie Osmosis Jones, likely to promote the Ozzy and Drix series over at Kids WB, and the Fridays crew showed viewers how to make ornaments at home. From January 23rd to February 27th, 2004, Friday nights kicked off with brand new episodes of Ed, Edd n Eddy. Fridays celebrated Valentine's Day for the first time on February 13th. The 20th saw the start of Johnny Bravo's fourth and final season with Van Partible returning, and the 27th saw the premiere of Craig Bartlett's Party Wagon movie, which I did a video on a while back if you want to know more about it. Mucha Lucha, another program acquired from Kids WB, made its network debut on March 5th. On March 12th, Fred Jones himself visited the set of Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed to interview the cast, and the 26th saw the start of Clone Wars Season 2.
On April 2nd, adults took over the show for April Fool's Day.
Gee, I bet the KND weren't too happy about that one. On April 16th, yet another Powerpuff Girls marathon aired from 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. to commemorate the start of the show's 6th and final season. In May, the network celebrated May Movie Month, and on the 7th, The King and I premiered. Plus, Zynga interviewed the Olsen twins. The other movies aired on Fridays throughout the month were encores. On the 14th, Amy Lee from the band Evanescence appeared on the show to perform a song about missing Cartoon Network while on tour.
I think Samurai Jack's cool in Dexter's laboratory. I miss watching Powerpuff. I miss watching TV. Well, living on the tour bus ain't that bad. But I feel like I lost all that I had on Cartoon Network. I miss you so on Cartoon Network.
It's goofy, but I love it. On June 4th, Tommy and Zynga interviewed the cast of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
You'll notice I've shaved for the occasion. I cut my hair.
Oh, you look amazing.
Cartoon Network also ran a call-in sweepstakes over this weekend for a chance to participate on an episode of Fridays.
How twisted would you get to be in the audience of Fridays on Cartoon Network? Would you make a wig out of Cheeto snacks? Or how about a beard? Well, fortunately, you don't have to do either. But if you've always wanted to be a part of Cartoon Network's Fridays, then watch for the toll-free number during Fridays starting at 7 p.m. and call for your chance to win, no matter how twisted you are. I just said you don't have to do that to get on Fridays.
June 18th marked the first Fridays block during Cartoon Network City era, which started the previous Monday. Around this time, the network began burning off underperforming anime series in the overnight hours after Fridays, like Cyborg 009 and Dot Hack Legend of the Twilight Bracelet. On July 30th, Fridays broadcasted from the 2004 MLB All-Star Game at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. August was a big deal as we saw the debut of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends on the 13th, and the series finale of Johnny Bravo on the 27th. September 3rd saw the series finale of Dot Hack Legend of the Twilight Bracelet in the overnight hours. The 17th featured the hour-long debut of another acquired series called Atomic Betty, which continued to air new episodes on Sundays afterwards. The Halloween season started on October 1st with a new set design and the premiere of the cult classic Scary Godmother movie. Not to mention, Evil Con Carne began its final season. This night also marked the beginning of Cartoon Network's 2004 election season with Ed, Number 1, and Plank as candidates. On October 15th, Hamtaro's Ham Ham Halloween aired, and Evil Con Carne's series finale premiered on the 22nd. Overnight, Mobile Suit Gundam Seed started burning off the rest of its episodes. October 29th saw the network premiere of Scooby-Doo and the Loch Ness Monster, while Tommy and Zynga dressed up as Shaggy and Daphne.
But I'd be so appreciative if someone could direct me to the little ghost room.
Oh, wait, you didn't see it? Upstairs, third door on the left, you can't miss it. It's the room with the little ghost sink and the little ghost toilet. Oh.
Dankeschön.
Auf Wiedersehen.
November 5th marked the conclusion to Cartoon Network's election season with Ed being declared president-elect, and Fridays aired a marathon of Ed, Edd, and Eddy to celebrate, including a new episode at 9. Meanwhile, Cyborg 009 aired for the last time during the overnight hours, leaving the series run unfinished with only 4 more episodes to go. So you mean to tell me they really couldn't have just finished it up? Lame. November 19th saw the debut of the next original series, Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi, which I thought was an underrated show. The 26th saw the network premiere of the DreamWorks movie Ants to celebrate Thanksgiving weekend. Beginning December 3rd, Maguzi ended early, allowing for Fridays to start at 6:30 for the next few weeks, to make room for Cartoon Network's Christmas celebration. Ed, Edd, and Eddy's Jingle Jingle Jangle premiered on that first night. The set was redesigned with a Christmas theme and the cast dressed in holiday gear.
Hey there, little snowman. What are you supposed to be? I'm Jack Frost. I have the icy touch. Zoom. Oh, that's sweet. I know.
The Fridays Family Christmas Gala Extravaganza aired on the 17th.
You're part of this fine family. Fine Fridays family. Fine Fridays. Fine Fridays. Fine Fridays.
Rubber baby buggy bumpers.
Rubber baby buggy bumpers.
That's good. You got it.
On Christmas Eve, Fridays aired a bunch of specials like Tangerine Bear, The Night Before Christmas, The Grinch, and 9 Dog Christmas. New Year's Eve featured a special Fridays block where Tommy and Zynga recounted the best moments from Fridays in 2004. Unfortunately, this would be Zynga's last night as a full-time host, as she decided to look for other career opportunities. Tara Sands took Zynga's spot on January 7th, 2005, and there might be a chance you recognize her from one of the several anime she's been in over the years.
Right here on Fridays.
Right here on Fridays.
Right here on Fridays.
Right
Boy,
here.
she sure is a cute one, huh? Yeah, she's gonna work out great. Even though Tommy's giving her advice? In spite of that, still.
Also on this night, Duck Dodgers began premiering new episodes on the block. On January 21st, Cartoon Network got the opportunity to air 2 brand new episodes of Mucha Lucha before Kids WB, and the latter would not air these episodes until the following summer. Blue from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends also paid a special visit to Tommy and Tara.
One more.
Alright, here's an easy way to do it.
Well, that was one way to do it.
You gotta love a fun little live-action animation hybrid. On February 4th, the block's opener was slightly modified to include some newer shows like Foster's and Puffy Amiyumi, and the block's graphics got a bit of a refresh. The block's set was expanded to make room for more furniture and other neat displays.
I love the Johnsons.
Yeah, but you know what the problem is? We can never order fish when we're with them.
No, I know.
You guys, you know what? We're gonna watch Ed, Edd, and Eddy, and then we'll tell you what we decided.
Yeah.
On February 11th, Fridays celebrated Valentine's Day with themed episodes and the premiere of Ed, Edd, and Eddy's Hanky Panky Hullabaloo.
So, Tommy, are you ready for Monday?
What's on Monday?
It's Valentine's Day, Tommy. Durr.
But Valentine's Day is next Monday, durr.
It's this Monday. This Monday is next Monday, technically.
This is the next? So the next is the first?
I'm afraid so.
Wow, I don't have anything planned then.
Oh, well.
Next week, a President's Day celebration.
Check it out. I'm George Washington, yo.
Is that really how our forefathers spoke back then?
For shizzle, Mr. Lizzle.
That's Abrahizzle Lizzle to you, G-Whizzle.
All right, well, how about a little bit of bizzle and mizzle right now?
March 4th saw the network premiere of the direct-to-video Mucha Lucha movie, The Return of El Malefico.
I'm the great Tommy, El Individuo del Luchador.
Tommy, the wrestler guy.
Yeah.
And I'm Locura Insana de la Marioneta.
Ooh, insane puppet madness. That is frightening.
Thanks.
The 11th featured an interview with the cast of Robots. On the 25th, Friday started fashionably late at 7:15 to accommodate for the final chapter of the Clone Wars micro-series at 7. The Powerpuff Girls also aired its series finale later that night. Of course, April 1st featured a ton of tomfoolery.
Hey guys!
Hey.
It seems as if your shoes are untied.
Oh,
whoa! Would you look at that?
Shoes are tied.
Finally! I got you, April Fool! Burn! Burn on you!
On April 15th, Gundam Seed aired its series finale in the overnight hours. And on the 22nd, Duck Dodgers aired a brand new episode on Fridays and Cartoon Network for the last time. The remaining new episodes aired exclusively on Boomerang. The 29th featured a new episode of Kids Next Door, followed by a marathon until midnight. In May, the block premiered 2 new Pokemon movies, Destiny Deoxys on the 6th and Pokemon Forever on the 20th. On the 13th, Tommy and Tara interviewed the cast and crew for Revenge of the Sith. Plus, Aloha Scooby-Doo made its network premiere. On May 27th, Fridays celebrated the start of summer.
Okay, who wants burgers? I do. Okay, who wants hot dogs? I do. And who wants beans? I do. Who wants coleslaw? I do. Okay, who wants some brand new Fosters? I do.
And interviewed the cast of Madagascar throughout the night. Crypto the Superdog made its Friday's debut with new episodes. Juniper Lee reruns made their debut the following week, after the show debuted on Memorial Day during the summer 2005 kickoff special. However, Crypto left the block by the end of June, and on July 1st there was a Foster's Marathon called Red, White, and Blue to celebrate Independence Day.
And now, Blue's View of America.
Oh, cool. Blue is in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital.
Is that the Jefferson Memorial?
No, it's the Washington Monument.
Ah. Is that the Jefferson Memorial?
No, it's the Lincoln Memorial.
Ah.
July 8th saw the hour-long debut of Camp Laszlo, and the segments featured the crew going on a camping trip for the night.
Well, everybody ready for a hike?
Yeah, let's go hiking.
I got my compass, my bug spray, my canteen of water, first aid, snack. Yep, I am ready. What's in your pack, Tommy?
Stuff. Yeah, camping stuff.
What camping stuff?
You know, rubber bands and toothpaste.
Perfect. Well, let's go.
The 15th featured an interview with the cast of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Apart from new episodes, nothing else major happened until Monday, August 22nd, 2005, when Fridays aired every night that week. You heard me right. In honor of Friday's 100th episode, the block aired from 7 to 9 p.m. on Monday through Thursday, and select segments from the past 99 episodes aired in between shows. The 100th episode itself, aired on Friday, August 26th, turned the set into a full-on party with cake and a guest musical performance by the rock band Shiny Toy Guns. It looked so fun. Tommy even pretended to be their drummer, Mikey Martin, during his bathroom break.
1, 2, 3, hit it!
Okay then. On September 30th, Fridays aired the first episode of Bobobo as a sneak peek before it debuted in Toonami the next night. This night also marks the beginning of Friday's block reruns overnight from 12:30 to 4:30. On October 7th, the block premiered the Scary Godmother sequel, The Revenge of Jimmy, and the 21st saw the network premiere of The Haunted Pumpkin of Sleepy Hollow. Overnight, Yu Yu Hakusho began burning off the rest of its episodes after being removed from Toonami in March. The 28th saw the premiere of Ed, Edd n Eddy's Boo Ha Ha. Plus, Tommy, Tara, and Long Haul dressed as Billy, Mandy, and Grim. Vernon and Rat both dressed up as Eddie.
And so we need to prove to Grim that we're not you, so he'll send us back to the Friday studio.
Billy, this wouldn't have happened if you hadn't convinced me to hide from Grim with you.
We fooled him good.
So good that he zapped us here.
Sorry, Tara.
On November 18th, Tommy and Tara interviewed the cast of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
We have a name that we kind of need you to say. We're afraid to say it.
Voldemort.
We said it.
He knew it too.
Voldemort. Ooh.
I just got chills.
You better be careful today.
Also in November, Fridays ran a sweepstakes in partnership with Hasbro for a chance to win 500 games and toys. To start off the Christmas celebrations on December 2nd, Billy and Mandy's Save Christmas premiered with other holiday specials spread throughout the month. There was even a Christmas party on the 23rd.
We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we traverse afar, field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star.
And a Best of 2005 special on the 30th. Starting off 2006, Robot Boy made its official debut on January 6th after airing a sneak peek on December 28th. January 13th marked the official hour-long debut of Ben 10 after its sneak peek on December 27th. Both of these cartoons would continue to air new episodes on Cartoon Network's brand new Saturday morning block, which typically focused on action-oriented cartoons. The last Tom and Jerry cartoon with Joe Barbera's involvement, The Karate Guard, made its network debut on January 27th. January may have been a wild month, but it just keeps going. Because on February 3rd, Fridays featured the network premiere of Hayao Miyazaki's Spirited Away. Now that's what I call a modern classic. On the 10th, Fridays celebrated Valentine's Day as usual, and they even celebrated President's Day on the 17th.
All right, everybody, debate time. First question is for Tommy. What do you want to be when you grow up? 10 seconds, go!
Well, let's see here. I always firefighter. I always want to be a firefighter.
Time's up. Tara, same question.
Why, the answer is simple, really. When I grow up, I want to serve you, the viewers, as the president of Fridays.
My Gym Partner's a Monkey finally debuted on February 24th, after airing a sneak peek on December 26th. On March 17th, the block celebrated St. Patrick's Day, and on the 31st, Fridays aired a special presentation of Dumb and Dumber for April Fool's Day. From what I remember, it was heavily censored, cause ain't no way that scene aired on the same network as this.
That is funny.
Hey, let's get to that Dumb and Dumber movie.
By the way, Yu Yu Hakusho's finale aired overnight. Fridays faced major changes starting April 7th after the network rebranded to the Yes Era the Monday before.
Cartoon Network.
Yes! I remember how devastated I was that my precious city bumpers were gone. But hey, Fridays was still cool. The set got a complete overhaul with a retro chic style design.
Ladies and gentlemen, the new Friday set!
The theme song got 2 remixes, one with more hip-hop influence, and another one with a marching band feel. The graphics took inspiration from classic arcade games, which is really neat, though I'm not a fan of the new logo. The font choice for the F doesn't quite do it for me. Some of the new recurring segments include Grandparents of the Week, Time for a Glass of Huh? Tommy and Tara's Country Drive?
Ew! Ew!
What?
You had something.
Tommy's magic trick of the day?
I'm gonna make a jump to this finger. Pay attention. 1, 2, 3. Oh, we've done it. Okay. bring her back. There it is.
Mascot wrestling? A song from somebody who can't sing?
I'm gonna make me an apple pie. Gonna start out with a pan. Gonna roll some dough inside.
Mindini and Ruff Ruff.
You know you're not allowed on the couch.
Fat boy, Ruff Ruff. Fat boy. I'm getting my dick whipped.
Now that's a good boy.
But favorites like Mr. Whiskers, Mr. Baby and Baby, and Long Haul remained. Xiaolin Showdown made its Friday's debut with new episodes here, and Chris Brown was the musical guest for the night. Yeah, this was definitely 2006. Speaking of musical guests, the 2006 season had tons of them like Sammy, Rihanna, Neo, Jonas Brothers, Bowling for Soup, Morningwood, KT Tunstall, Omarion, 3 Days Grace, too many to count. On April 14th, the block premiered Here Comes Peter Cottontail, the movie. And on the 21st, the gang hosted From Tony Hawk's Place, with Tommy, Tara, and Long Haul talking to Tony Hawk throughout the night.
Well, and how do you make one of those things official? Like, you've invented a couple of tricks.
Well, basically, if you're the first to do it, you know, there's an unspoken rule that you can name it.
What about this?
Well, I guess...
Watch this. This is good. What do you call that, Tommy?
See, I don't put my feet on it, but that's just like,
right?
It's tricky to do.
I mean, he was the first one to do it,
Is
right?
that like air guitar?
That, yeah. It's like airborne.
Starting on May 5th, the hosting segments would only air until 10 p.m., and the rest of the night would use generic bumpers. These bumpers were trippy and perfect for the late night vibes. On May 19th, Tommy and Tara interviewed the cast of the new DreamWorks movie Over the Hedge. There was a gym partner marathon on May 26th from 7 to 10 featuring a new episode.
Hey Tara, Phil and Shannon and I just finished making Charles Darwin middle school action figures out of fruits.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is incredible if I do say so myself.
And the DreamWorks movie Road to El Dorado made its network premiere on June 2nd. The following week, the show was broadcast from the then named Lowe's Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina, to commemorate the opening of Disney Pixar's Cars.
How can you not be in a movie where you get to play someone named Lightning McQueen?
On June 23rd, Camp Lazlo aired a new episode followed by a marathon of its own from 7 to 10. The cast of Superman Returns was interviewed on June 30th, and the Cats and Dogs movie premiered in the block on July 7th, when the cats of Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest was interviewed. I meant cast. The 14th marked the debut of the Cartoon Network original Squirrel Boy, which previously aired on Cartoon Network's Summer Preview Special on May 29th. On July 28th, Xiaolin Showdown went back to airing new episodes outside of Fridays. August featured the premieres of Codename Kids Next Door Operation Zero on the 11th,
Tom and Jerry, Shiver Me Whiskers on the 18th,
and another logo change on the 25th. On September 1st, Fridays reran all the musical performances from the summer in one night. On the 8th, the block premiered the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon special Go Getters Out of the Gate, as well as the first episode of Pokemon Battle Frontier. Plus, the last batch of Juniper Lee episodes started premiering. Teen Titans Trouble in Tokyo finally made its way to air on September 15th. The Cartoon Network Fridays DVD released in stores on the 19th, featuring episodes of Cartoon Network shows and Fridays segments, some exclusively made for the DVD. This release marked the final appearances of Long Haul, Vernon, and Rat before they were all retired. Justice for puppets. October was full of premieres, starting with Scooby-Doo Pirates Ahoy on the 6th. This was also a night that highlighted Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yeah, what up, y'all? This is Fat Joe encouraging you to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with the Cartoon Network and the Boys and Girls Club of America.
The first of the live-action Scooby-Doo movies premiered on the 13th. Tommy and Tara even dressed as Shaggy and Daphne for the occasion. There was Casper's Scare School on the 20th, and a mockumentary on the 27th, detailing the fictional life of Class of 3000's Sonny Bridges titled From Bankhead to Buckhead.
It's a lovely day in 3000's hood. A lovely day in 3000's hood. We'll have a good time. I know I'm gonna have a good time. I don't know about y'all.
Most of the segments this month were centered around being spooky. Well, obviously.
Ta-da! It's Grip!
There were appearances from Count Clumsula and Frankenstein.
Oh, hey honey, refrigerator running? Yes! Better catch refrigerator. Me break you.
Plus, kids got to participate in costume contests, where the winning team was decided each week through a game of tug of war. The winners of the final battle? Team Angel. On November 3rd, Fridays broadcasted from Atlanta's Fox Theater to celebrate the debut of Class of 3000. There were interviews with the man of the hour, Andre 3000, and the cast of Reanimated, Cartoon Network's first original live-action movie. Okay, marching band, y'all know how to throw down for real. Chris Brown took the stage again, this time performing Give Me That and Run It.
What'd you guys think of Andre 3000? Yeah, what about the cartoon? You like Class of 3000? Yeah! You guys, anyone have a favorite scene? You have a favorite scene in the cartoon?
Yeah, I like the part when he fell on his face. I like that part.
You liked when he fell on his face?
Yeah, I like that part.
You guys are mean!
On the 10th, new episodes of Dot Hack Roots began airing overnight. The crew interviewed the cast of Happy Feet on the 17th, which was the same night Tony Hawk's Boom Boom Sabotage premiered. On the 24th, Tommy and Tara broadcasted from the home of the Nelms family to celebrate Thanksgiving.
Pass the rolls, please.
Well, sure. I could have sworn they were right here. Has anyone seen the dinner rolls?
Featuring an encore of the Foster's movie Good Will Hunting, which is still one of my favorite Foster's episodes to this day. On December 1st, Bah Humduck, A Looney Tunes Christmas made its network premiere, and Tommy documented his experience on the set of Reanimated, which finally premiered the week after on the 8th, filled with even more behind-the-scenes coverage and interviews. They hyped this movie up like crazy, and it didn't even appeal to me like that as a 10-year-old. Juniper Lee premiered for the last time on the 15th with 2 episodes left unaired, and the 29th focused on the best of Fridays from 2006. January 2007 was pretty normal with your average premieres, but there was a contest promoting Reanimated where the winner received $100,000. However, little did we know, the end was nigh. The entire month of February centered around more best of shows, highlighting tons of segments from the block's run, and February 23rd, 2007 marked the block's final broadcast. The final shows to premiere new episodes on the block were Camp Lazlo, Class of 3000, and Squirrel Boy. Pretty stacked for a farewell lineup, I'd say. I loved Fridays. I mean, you could just tell the crew was so dedicated to this show. Everybody's energy shined on screen, and there was so much enthusiasm mixed with wholesomeness. Before we continue along, let's backtrack a little bit to around 2004. One of the attractions at Wanna-Do City in Sunrise, Florida was a replica of the Fridays set, where kids could pretend to host an episode of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, Fridays proudly presents Mr. Baby and Baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from Wanna-Do City is the comedy stylings of Mr. Baby and Baby.
Hey, Mr. Baby!
Yes, baby?
What's black and white and red all over?
Oh, I bet I know what that is. Is it newspaper?
No, siree!
Then I give up, baby. What is black and white and red all over?
A skunk with diaper rash!
Tommy, Tara, and the rest of the Fridays crew hyped the kids up with a video message.
This is gonna be a lot of fun, and I'm sure everybody's gonna do a great job.
Time for roll call. Burning in red.
Ready.
Long haul.
Here. Presento. Ready. Yo.
Mr. Baby and Baby. Ready over here.
Here we are.
Okay, everybody, now it's time to shoot your part of the show. Have fun.
Places, Tommy and Tara.
Okay, we'll see you later.
Yeah, good luck, you guys.
And the participants even got the chance to take home a DVD copy of their show, which also had clips from the real block spliced in between. This attraction presumably lasted until sometime in 2006, though I'm not exactly sure. Well, back to the future. The month of March focused on movie presentations, with highlights being the network premieres of Mouse Hunt, James and the Giant Peach, Pokemon Ranger and the Temple of the Sea, and Billy and Mandy's Big Boogie Adventure. Meanwhile, Dot Hack Roots aired its 21st episode overnight, leaving 6 of them unaired. Ay ay ay. Fridays did not get a temporary replacement until April 6th with Friday Night Premiere Thunder. This block did not have a standard start time each week, and the branding was really only used for the premieres themselves. It was totally preempted on April 27th for the Best Day Etter Marathon, where each Ed, Edd n Eddy episode aired in production order leading to the supposed series finale. In May, the block was renamed Friday Night Premiere Laser to coincide with Cartoon Network's Invaded event, focused around alien-themed episodes from 7 to 10. And on the 11th, the Ed, Edd n Eddy Invaded episode premiered. Well, so much for that. As well as the Pokemon movie Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. Code Lyoko debuted its final season aired by the network on May 18th, and Friday Night Premiere Laser aired for the last time on the 25th, featuring the first episode of Stormhawks as a sneak peek. Code Lyoko continued to air new episodes under the Summer at 7 branding. July 6th saw the premiere of Billy and Mandy Wrath of the Spider Queen. Nice use of the Spider-Man font in the promos, by the way. In addition, Adult Swim began airing on Friday nights, meaning it was now broadcasting 7 nights a week. Boy, do I remember when this happened. Cause I was so ready to chill with some late night cartoons, and then all of a sudden that giant parental advisory sticker flashed on the screen so quick. Now I don't know about y'all, but that used to freak me out a bit. Mission accomplished? From August 17th through the 19th, Naruto took over the entire Cartoon Network schedule to celebrate triple digits with the Hundo Marathon, each one back to back to back, culminating in the 100th episode. This marathon was so hype, and for me it was the first time I really sat down to watch Naruto. On Friday, August 31st, 2007, from 7 to 11 p.m., the more permanent replacement for Fridays finally debuted. They called it Fried Dynamite. Hosted by a 10-year-old named Blake Michael, he brought his friends on as co-hosts. The group mostly participated in random skits that were all over the place, even more so than Fridays. Skits from a block in November 2007 showed the crew cooking what seems to be Thanksgiving food. And then there's this weird thing with cheese out of nowhere.
Number 1, number 2, number 1, number 2, number 1, number 2. Number 2.
My goodness, talk about sensory overload. The screen is flashing every 2 nanoseconds just to keep my attention. Y'all are doing way too much here. Another skit shows Blake playing football with someone before the ball is caught by a fire-breathing turkey.
Sorry.
And all new Kids Next Door will be right back.
And there's one where the kids are in a meeting together to come up with a plan for world domination.
Ryan,
Yes.
do you have the rubber chicken?
Check. 1 rubber chicken.
Good work.
There's a bumper where the kids squirt all kinds of condiments onto the camera, and another one with somebody skateboarding through the Cartoon Network offices. I don't have as much to go off of here compared to CCF and Fridays, but even back then I wasn't too fond of the block. I just wanted Fridays back, honestly. Not to say the kids were awful, but something about Fried Dynamite didn't exactly click with me. The inaugural lineup from August 31st had Chill Out, Scooby-Doo, as well as new episodes of My Gym Partner's a Monkey and Class of 3000. Kinda light on the variety for this first week, but I like the choices nonetheless. The block also aired a Saturday morning counterpart called Dynamite Action Squad from 9 to noon, which mainly focused on action shows like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Ben 10, and Code Lyoko. On September 7th, the block premiered the R.L. Stine Haunting Hour film Don't Think About It. And on the 14th, Out of Jimmy's Head debuted as the network's first original live-action series, which was spun off from last year's Reanimated. October 12th featured premieres of Out of Jimmy's Head, Foster's, and even Goosebumps and Anaglyphs 3D. Dude, just thinking about those red and cyan paper glasses makes me so nostalgic. Hey, anybody wanna watch Shrek 3D after this? On November 2nd, Chowder made its hour-long debut, and Billy and Mandy premiered its series finale on November 9th. The Grim Adventures of the K&D crossover encored on November 16th. And so did Ben 10 Race Against Time on the 23rd. December 21st saw a sneak peek at the brand new George of the Jungle animated series, before it fully debuted on January 18th, 2008. To gear up for the debut, the live-action adaptation with Brendan Fraser premiered the week before on the 11th. The Kids Next Door special Operation Interviews encored on the 25th, bringing an end to the series. The last 3 episodes of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl premiered in the block on February 1st. Fried Dynamite would stay pretty normal until Chopsocky Chooks debuted on March 7th, and Courage the Cowardly Dog aired reruns right after. Also in March, one night of Fried Dynamite revolved around hockey, where the kids learned how to play from the professional Atlanta Thrashers and went behind the scenes with the team.
You gotta put the biscuit in the basket if you wanna win. Oh, hey, Moose. I'm trying to explain to Katie what putting the biscuit in the basket means. Can you back me up on this one?
I'm afraid not, buddy. You know what? When we talk about putting the biscuit in the basket, we mean scoring goals.
Into the zone, wrist to score!
Though around this time, premieres in Fried Dynamite became scarce. Cartoon Network started moving most of its new programming to Thursday nights, and Chopsocky Chooks switched nights starting April 17th. On Friday, April 18th, Ben 10 Alien Force debuted, with the rest of Season 1 airing on Saturday mornings in Dynamite Action Squad. From May 2008 onward, Fried Dynamite relied on movies almost every week at 8 p.m. Ninja Clash in the Land of Snow, Zathura, Hoodwinked, Beethoven, and Roger Rabbit to name a few. Oh god, not Son of the Mask! Reruns of Flapjack started to air in Fried Dynamite on June 6th after episodes premiered on Thursdays. Even reruns of Skunk Fu and Total Drama Island joined very briefly during the same month. On July 4th, the block lost an hour and now started at 8. Also from July, I found this segment that parodies the sweet life of Zack and Cody. Like, they didn't even try to hide it.
Dude, you're a guest at the Upton Hotel! Let's do hotel stuff! Yeah, there's no end to all the hotel stuff we can do!
Hooray for me!
Look, it's Berlin Upton, internationally famous hotel heiress!
Guys, how long is this gonna go on?
Huh? What do you mean?
You guys are what, 23? Are you all gonna stay in this hotel forever?
Bruh, even they knew Disney was not gonna let this series go. Come September 26th, Fried Dynamite premiered a preview special for the new Star Wars The Clone Wars series, and the block was unfortunately cancelled the same night. However, Dynamite Action Squad stuck around until January 10th, 2009. While I didn't really care about Fried Dynamite too much in terms of hosting segments, the shows and movies were still okay at least. Fried Dynamite got an immediate replacement the following week on October 3rd, 2008 with
You Are Here
from 8 to 11 p.m. The block focused on new episodes of action shows and can be thought of as a spiritual successor to Toonami, which was also cancelled in September. You Are Here's packaging was themed to fit Cartoon Network's recent rebrand, the Nudes Era. That's Noods. Here, no pun intended, a gold nude wearing a crown moved around an orange void filled with blocks. The packaging was enhanced by the awesome Justice song New Jack, Otherwise, the packaging was pretty bland and there wasn't enough room for creativity. It looked really cool though. Don't get it twisted though, I can't say the same for the main nude bumpers. Those were oozing with creativity. The inaugural lineup from the 3rd featured debuts for the Secret Saturdays and Star Wars The Clone Wars. Season 2 of Ben 10 Alien Force started the week after, and Batman the Brave and the Bold debuted on November 14th. The lineup stayed consistent for most of the block's run and really only ever changed for special occasions. On January 2nd, 2009, the block lost an hour since Adult Swim now started at 10 p.m. On February 13th, You Are Here started an hour early for the network premiere of the Pokemon movie, Giratina and the Sky Warrior, plus 2 brand new Clone Wars episodes. If it wasn't already clear enough that this block was a spiritual successor to Toonami, this promo should clear things up.
You know Cartoon Network is blowing up every Friday night, but this Friday is special. We're all new all night with 3 full hours of premiere power. First, it's the American premiere of the newest Pokemon movie, Giratina and the Sky Warrior. Then get ready for a special 1-hour Star Wars, the Clone Wars television event. It's brand new Pokemon straight out of Japan, and all new Star Wars, the Clone Wars. Friday night starting at 7. Where are you? Here.
Whoa, classic Toonami music and Peter Cullen? Oh, they delivered with that promo. Around this time, the packaging music was changed to Walkman by Sebastian. Somebody at Cartoon Network had fire taste in music. Starting May 1st, You Are Here got a new look for a limited time. The void was now blue, the nude had horns, and the word limited written on its head. The packaging music was changed to Carte Blanche by Pelican City. This refresh coincided with the airing of Star Wars The Clone Wars Decoded, reruns of some Season 1 episodes with pop-up backs. After June 19th, the block went on hiatus for the summer. In the meantime, it was replaced with movies and CN Reel programming. On September 11th, You Are Here returned with the gold nude intact, as well as a new season of Ben 10 Alien Force, while Clone Wars started its next season on October 2nd. Unfortunately, the Secret Saturdays did not return to the block as the network moved the show to Saturday nights for the rest of its run. On the 9th, another mystery dungeon special, Explorers of Sky Beyond Time and Space, premiered outside the block at 7:30. The following week, You Are Here began airing from 7:30 to 9:30 on occasion. But the block was mysteriously preempted on the 30th for Halloween specials. November 13th saw the start of Johnny Test reruns. Don't we already have enough? I guess I'll run with the idea they needed a quick filler show, but couldn't they have picked Teen Titans or even the Powerpuff Girls? On November 20th, the Pokemon movie Arceus and the Jewel of Life premiered ahead of You Are Here. Well, it's another new decade and the LEGO Atlantis special premiered on January 15th, 2010. Johnny Test left the block after March 19th and the series finale of Ben 10 Alien Force aired on the 26th. On April 23rd, Generator Rex and Ben 10 Ultimate Alien debuted on the network, and that's pretty much it. You Are Here was cancelled on May 28th, right before Cartoon Network rebranded to the Check It era the next morning. They replaced You Are Here with the biggest night of action on September 17th. To commemorate the debut of Genndy Tartakovsky's Symbionic Titan. The packaging was nothing special. It didn't really stand out all too much from Cartoon Network's regular packaging. Even though I liked the normal Check It 1.0 packaging, I wish more effort went into the action block presentation. All the shows from You Are Here carried over, and Young Justice debuted on November 26th. To kick off 2011, the pilot for LEGO Ninjago Masters of Spinjitzu premiered on January 14th. The action took a breather on February 25th to make room for the inaugural Hall of Game Awards. Remember that? What a strange time. But even more memorable was the regular show episode that premiered afterwards. It's the one where Mordecai sees more of Pops than he bargained for. Later on in the year, the Thundercats reboot debuted on July 29th. And my goodness, did this show deserve better? Same goes for Symbionic Titan. On November 11th, the first episode of Green Lantern the Animated Series aired as a sneak peek before debuting the next spring. While on the 25th, the Ben 10 Generator Rex crossover Heroes United premiered. The block ended on December 30th as Cartoon Network began shifting action shows to Saturday mornings, and Friday was no longer the night for kids to sit at home and watch new cartoons like it used to be. However, Generator Rex continued to air new episodes on Friday nights until February 10th, 2012, and Clone Wars did so until March 16th. On March 30th, Cartoon Network revived the compilation show Cartoon Planet as a 1-hour program every Friday night at 8 to showcase their older originals for the network's 20th anniversary. Like the original show, Brack and Zorak hosted segments where they performed musical numbers or comedic skits.
Ouch! Ow! I know it hurts!
Hold on.
I just banged my hand on the thing and the thing hurt my hand real bad.
I gotta run to the market for some healing potion. Anybody need anything?
I can do a little with that healing potion.
No!
What a fine friend you are.
And I'm dead. I'm so dead.
Dead and selfish. Man, wouldn't help anybody out. I got a hurty on my hand.
I'm totally deceased. I can't be revived, so quit trying. So, Creature King, Metalis, I'm outie. This beanbag's not gonna fall asleep on itself.
You just don't care!
Care on the whoosy whatty?
Exactly! See, I hurt my head and you don't care about it.
Alright, see you later.
But unlike the original show, Space Ghost did not return as host due to a smaller budget. Despite that, I still love these. The pizza song stuck with me all these years later for whatever reason.
Pizza, pizza, song about pizza. I love a pizza, song about pizza. Pizza is pizza when you make it up. Then you let it cool down and eat.
While the show started out by airing mostly cartoons and pre-2010 originals, it eventually started airing more modern programming and even slid in some Warner Brothers shows and Canadian imports. Starting Saturday, September 7th, 2013, Cartoon Planet began airing on weekend mornings, and briefly aired daily for a couple of weeks towards the end of the year. At the start of 2014, the show returned to weekends, airing sporadically until it was cancelled on February 8th. With that being said, it looks like we've come full circle. In the early 2000s, Cartoon Network really knew what they were doing in terms of how they delivered their original programming. CCF was a blast, and while Fridays was debatably not on the same level, I still enjoyed it and even got a major nostalgia rush working on this video. I hadn't seen most of these segments since their original airings. Special thanks to Tara Sands and everyone involved in getting full Fridays episodes digitized. This helped out so much. Fried Dynamite just didn't feel as interactive or exciting as the others. And while You Are Here tried to be something, it just didn't have the same flair that Toonami did to make it stand out. The Night of Action Block's aesthetic was a bit too bland for my taste, but Cartoon Planet bumped things up a notch and took it back to the old days by focusing on feel-good Friday fun. It's so unfortunate that Friday night lost its crown. What are some of your favorite Cartoon Network memories growing up? Let's reminisce in the comments and I'll see you next time.